Hello, I'm Deborah from Saffron Safeguarding African Children and Adult Partnership. Today, I want to talk a little bit about child mental health. Now, I'm going to have to break this down into about three different segments so that it's not rushed and I give you an opportunity to contact us and ask any questions. But for today, we'll start with like an introduction into child mental health. I'm going to keep it very simple and make it easy to understand. And I also want to talk about, who is at risk. That is the category of children that are at risk of child mental health issues or problems or challenges. So, what does mental health mean? Because we need to understand what mental health is in order to know whether or not we have a healthy, or the children that we work with or live with have a healthy mental health. So, mental health is a person's cognitive, behavioral, and emotional well-being. Cognitive being the way you think, behavior, well, that's self-explanatory, and emotional well-being. Now, we all have mental health. Everyone has it, from children to young people to adults. So everybody has a form of mental health. It is common to use the term mental health issues. Now, this is usually when there are problems or challenges an individual is experiencing that may be causing negative effects. So, focusing on children, it is important to ensure all aspects of health is attended to, which includes a child's safety and well-being, their physical health, and of course, their mental health. A child's health or mental health can be impacted by negative experiences. So that is what could trigger a negative mental health. And it could be things such as abuse and neglect. Now, abuse can be physical, it can be sexual, it can be emotional, domestic, and on and on. I should also include neglect in this list. So, who is at risk of mental health issues or problems? Well, anyone. Anyone can be at risk of mental health issues, but I will again focus on children. And that can be any age, sex, ability, or disability. They can develop mental health difficulty. Now, having said that, research has shown that there are factors associated with mental health difficulties with children, with specifically with children, and things like abuse and neglect has been highlighted. So children who have been exposed to traumatic and sometimes long-term exposure to these abuse and neglect have a greater likelihood of developing a range of mental health issues now during childhood and later on in their lives. Some children develop anxiety, eating disorders, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder, known as PTSD. There are certain types of abuse linked to particular mental health issues. For example, children who have experienced emotional abuse may be more likely to develop anxiety and depression. So, what other groups of children may be at risk? Children with additional needs and disabilities may also be at risk. For some, they have reduced mobility and some face prejudice, discrimination, and bullying. This particular group of children, that is, those who have additional needs, they face, like I said, prejudice and discrimination, and they're very vulnerable because of the limitations of expression, the ability or lack of ability to make friends and to take part in activities and maybe even to understand the world that they live in. Some of these challenges may lead to low self-esteem or confidence and social exclusions, which then puts them at a higher risk of developing mental health issues. Another group of children who may be affected by mental health challenges are those who may have gone through stress or trauma. This can range from bereavement or sudden change in their environment, maybe parents separating or going through a divorce, a sick parent or a sibling that's unwell. And right now, the effect of COVID on the family, and on and on. These experiences can trigger mental health issues. According to information from the NSPCC in 2019, children living in care are more likely than their peers to have mental health difficulties. This is attributed to loneliness, isolation, past trauma, abuse, or neglect. I would like to touch on children in the LGBTQ plus group or community. Some of these children face prejudice, discrimination, bullying. Some are at risk of being teased, some attacked, and made to feel unwanted or unloved. Sometimes they are worried about being rejected by their friends and or family and made to feel like an outsider. These feelings and stresses may lead to mental health problems or issues. Now, the last group of children at risk of mental health issues are those from the Black, Asian, ethnic minority communities. I will specifically focus on children from Black African communities. Why might these children experience mental health problems? Well, the answer ranges. They can be subjects of racism, again, discrimination and prejudice. This can be direct and overt or indirect and covert. Direct can be like name calling, references to skin tone, accent, hairstyle or texture, and on and on. Indirect may be something a bit more subtle. Undertones, indirect comments, being excluded from groups or activities, or even not being given needed information. This can lead to inequalities and inability to access support needed or care needed, which then may impact negatively on their mental health. Okay, so I'm going to stop here for now. But please join me next time when I go through how to recognize signs that a child may be struggling with his or her mental health and how to respond or speak with the child. In the meantime, if you feel or suspect that your child or you know of a child struggling with mental health, please reach out to us at Saffron Safeguarding African Children and Adult Partnership. Our contact information is attached. And if you have any questions on this topic, please do not hesitate to get in touch. Until next time, take care and stay safe.